friends, it's Julie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a library haul video for you guys, as well as my February TBR, because most of these books I got from the library I plan on reading this month, so I just wanted to quickly share them with you. Now the first book is one that I didn't check out from the library, but I will be reading it in February, and that is White Oleander by Janet Fitch. And I'm going to be doing a buddy read of this with some of my favorite booktube ladies, Katie, Mollie, Jess, and Jordyn. You guys know them. I've talked about them multiple times on my channel, but we decided that we wanted to read another book together, and this is the one that we picked because a lot of us already owned it. I've been wanting to read this book for a very, very long time. I remember in high school that this was one of my really good friends, like one of her favorite books, and she read this all the time. She absolutely loved it and raved about it all the time, and for some reason I just never picked it up. I don't know a lot about this book other than I know that it deals with some really heavy subject matter, and it's about this girl named Astrid who her mother murders either like her boyfriend or like an ex-lover or something like that, and so her mother is sent to prison, and Astrid is just kind of passed around from foster home to foster home, and it's just about her growing up and dealing with this. And yeah, that's all I really know, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things, and I'm excited to finally check this one out. Then up next, I have Prince's Gambit by C.S. Picot. This is book 2 of the Captive Prince trilogy. I read the first book last month, which was Captive Prince, and I really enjoyed it. I've been meaning to pick up this trilogy for a really long time, and I just finally did it. And it's such a guilty pleasure read. Like, I devoured that first book in just a few days. No, it isn't this incredible, like, literary work of art, but it was just a fun, fast read. This is categorized as a like mature audience like romance, although there wasn't a lot of romance that happened in the first book, but I'm thinking that's probably going to change over the next two. But this is a story about two like enemy kingdoms and their kings in waiting, so like two princes. One is named Damien and the other one is named Laurent. And at the very beginning of the first book, in Damien's kingdom, his like half-brother decides to kill the king and take the throne for himself, so he ships Damien out of the country and he sends him as a pleasure slave to this other prince, Prince Laurent. And so Damien is sent to this other country and he just kind of has to navigate everything. It's very different from his. The slaves are treated very differently, and Prince Laurent is a very cold, harsh man, and yeah, there's lots of political intrigue and secrets, and there is also some very hard to read subject matter. These books are not going to be for everybody. There is scenes of rape and torture and things along those lines, so definitely not for everybody, but I just devoured the first book, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing on with it. Now up next, I have a few horror novels to throw into the mix. You guys know me, I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately, so I'm gonna need to throw in some horror. And the first two are actually recommendations from Rachel at the Shades of Orange. You guys know I love Rachel. But the first one is Come Closer by Sarah Gran. This is just a short little like novella, so I should be able to read this very quickly, and I believe it's a possession story, and I've heard Rachel just rave about this book, so I'm excited to finally check it out. And then the other book that I have that she recommended is The Merciless by Danielle Vega, and this is actually a YA horror novel, so I'm a little nervous because it is YA, but if it's good enough for Rachel, it's probably good enough for me, so I'm excited to at least just give it a try. If I don't like it, I'll just DNF it. But this is about a group of, I believe, high school girls, and they decide to perform an exorcism on another classmate, and then it just goes terribly wrong. This is another very short book, so I'm sure that I will just fly through it. And I thought it was interesting, in the very front it says like for mature audiences only. I know that Rachel was a little surprised at the subject matter and like how gruesome and stuff things were in this book, so we shall see. And then the final horror novel I have is Within These Walls by Anya Ahlborn. You guys know that I'm a really big fan of Anya Ahlborn. I read 2 of her books last year, Brother and The Devil Crept In, and this year I plan on reading all the rest of her works. And this is actually a supernatural thriller, which I'm a little nervous about because you guys know I like more like realistic stuff, but you know, I have to give it a try because it's her. But it's actually about this washed up old crime writer named Lucas who gets like the chance of a lifetime to interview this like notorious old cult leader who is now on death row. And then the guy backs out of the interview, and Lucas goes out to the home where I believe all of these crimes take place. and then there's like something going on with the house. So I think it's like a haunted house type story. I don't know. I could be wrong. Sometimes I feel like I think I know where Anya Ahlborn is taking her books, and then they're just completely different. So I will let you guys know once I finish it, but I'm really excited to check out another one of her books. And then up next, I actually have another YA book. 2 YA books in 1 month. I probably shouldn't have done that to myself, but have you guys ever noticed that when you put a whole bunch of requests in at the library and you're on hold, and sometimes you're on hold for a really long time, and then it seems like all of your books come in at one time? I don't know how that works, but it just always seems to happen. So I am gonna try 2 YA books this month. We'll see how it goes, but this is one I've actually heard really, really good things about, and from people who don't read a lot of YA. I'm sure you guys have seen this book going around, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is a fae story, and I'm a sucker for anything having to do with fae, so when I heard people raving about this, I knew I had to pick it up. And I don't know too much about it. I'm just trying to kind of just go in blindly. I do know that it is about a girl named Jude who her parents are either murdered or they die at the beginning of the story, and her sister are taken to the fae realm, and that's where they grow up and they're raised. That's all I really know about it. It's supposed to be kind of dark, so yeah, I'm nervous. It is a hyped book, but I haven't hyped it up in my mind. I've kind of kept that down because I know that it is YA, so we'll see. If I don't like it, I'll just DNF it. And then the final book I have is My Friend Dahmer by Derf Backderf. I'm sure you guys have probably either seen this book or heard about it, but this is a graphic memoir written by one of Jeffrey Dahmer's friends from high school. And it just shows kind of what Jeffrey Dahmer's life was like up until the point where he kills his first victim. I heard the lovely ladies from the Books in the Freezer podcast talk about this on their non-fiction episode, which if you have not checked out that podcast and you enjoy horror books, then I would definitely recommend it. I will leave a link to it down below. It is run by Stephanie from That's What She Read and Rachel from The Shades of Orange, and I get a lot of book recommendations from that podcast. I'm really, really enjoying it. Those ladies are doing a great job. But this was on their nonfiction episode, so I'm excited to check this out. I've heard really good things about it. I had heard about it before they even talked about it on there. And I believe there's either a movie or it might be a mini-series. I'm not sure, but I want to read the book before I watch that. You guys know that I really enjoy anything having to do with serial killers because I'm just weird like that. But those are all of the books that I plan on reading throughout February. I might throw a few more into the mix. We'll see. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. But I think that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy reading. Bye.